All right, so we're back in the F-18, and I wanted to redo the radar video because I've learned a lot, and I kind of sucked at it before. So I figured it'd be a great opportunity to kind of cover some of the things that I missed or didn't completely fully understand, and just kind of redo the entire video. So yeah, this is the attack radar. We get to it from our tactical menu, attack radar. And this is actually telling me quite a bit of information right now. I'm going to go ahead and pause it here, just so planes don't move and what have you as we're chatting. So a lot of information is being displayed already, even without any radar context being displayed. From the top here, we can see our current bearing is 130 degrees. Our current airspeed is 234 knots and or 0.63 Mach. Our current sweep range is 140 degrees, so 70 degrees left and 70 degrees right. More on that later. Our view range is 40 degrees and or 40 miles. Sorry. We're in range while search mode. There's two modes: range while search and track while search. We'll see if we can cover both without making this video stupid long, because this is super exciting information. We also have our BRA, or bearing range and altitude, or BRA, from our aircraft to the TDC location. So TDC, throttle designator controller. I can move this yellow 2-bar with numbers on the top and bottom around, and wherever that is pointing will give me the bearing and range of that location of that TDC. So let me actually unpause and do that. So we can see here we're at 40 miles on our view angle, and with the TDC rate all the way up to the top, we get to about 40 miles. As we bring that down closer to this line down here, that number goes away, or goes down, right? So halfway is at 20 miles, a quarter of the way is at 10 miles. So with 40 miles selected here, this line here represents the nose of the aircraft at 0 miles. This line here represents 40, well, I guess it's up here. This line here represents 40 miles away. Okay. So that would mean this is 3/4 of that distance. So what is that? 30? 30 miles, 20 miles, 10 miles, 0 miles. So if I change this to 80 miles, we're already getting a hit. You can see that right there. Now this line represents 80 miles. This would represent 60. This would represent 40, 20, and 0. So we can kind of see that the TDC is kind of on that first line here, and it's saying it's 20 miles. I'm looking at 20 miles and 72 degrees to the left. Okay. The full sweep. Oh, and then these lines here, these dashes that are vertical, represent degrees off the nose. And I can't remember exactly what it is, but I know this one is 0 degrees off the nose. I think this is 30, 60-ish, and then 70 is over here, something like that. I can't remember the exact numbers, but the further away it is from the center line, the more the vector to that location is off to the left or right. Okay. So this is a top-down view of the radar search zone from 80 miles to 0 miles and from 70 degrees left and 70 degrees right. Okay. So we're looking at a top-down. So this particular cross here is a radar contact. And if we put our TDC on that, we'll be able to tell its bearing and range. Additionally, we might get some more information if we put our TDC designator over that. We might be able to determine if it's a friendly, foe, or unknown based on the color. Yellow is unknown, friendly is green, and red is enemy. And then if we do get any of that information, we'd be able to tell its altitude and speed. So we're going to get a lot of information here. So let's do that and see if we can actually get that information. All right, I'm going to pause it here. So we know that particular contact is 66.6 miles away and at a bearing of 194 degrees. So I'd have to turn I'm at 130 degrees. I have to turn my bearing to 194 to go straight towards it. And at that point, this radar hit would start to move closer to the center. All right. We also can see it's at 6.6, Angel 6.6 or 6,600 miles. And its speed is Mach 1 point, and I have to 1.1. All right. So its speed is on the left side. It's Angels or altitude in tens of thousands or thousands of feet. 6.6 is Angels 6.6 is 6,600 feet. All right, so we know his altitude, his speed, the bearing and range from us, as well. And let's see if I can zoom in here. You see this little line coming off of it. That tells me its direction. So I know everything about this plane that I need to know from my radar. And let me actually move my TDC away here. Based on our current settings of altitude, distance, and I guess that's it. Okay, so the bar search is our elevation search. The more bars you have, the more degrees in elevation it searches. Each bar is 2 degrees, so we're looking at a 4-degree sweep time. One bar is one sweep from left to right or right to left. That's a bar. A 2-degree sweep from one direction to the other is a bar. So if I have a 2 bar, it's going to sweep, let's say, right to left 2 degrees, go down, and then sweep left to right 2 degrees, and then come up, and then just do this box search. And I have a visual for that to kind of hopefully make sense of that. So we can choose 1, 2, 4, or 6 bars for our sweep. So we can have a 2-degree sweep with 1 bar, 4-degree sweep with 2 bars. 3 bars would be 6-degree sweep, and no, 4 bars would be 8-degree sweep, and 6 bars would be 12-degree sweep. So basically you're increasing the how much in elevation the antenna is going to move. Current antenna elevation is this caret right here. So it's currently centered on the nose. As it goes through the bars, it'll move up and down. We also have a control to angle it up and down, and we'll see why we'd want to do that a little later. So let's see. Let me show you kind of how these numbers work together. Oh, there's one other thing I want to show you in the data. This number here is the fall off rate in seconds. So after 4, it's currently selected after 4 seconds, any radar hits will fall off visualization on this, unless that radar hit pings again. All right. So when let me just actively pause this. Come out of this. If we set ourselves up for a 6-bar search and 140-degree sweep, it's going to sweep left to right, go down, sweep right to left, so on and so forth. It's going to do, you can see the antenna moving here. Sweep, move down, sweep, and then go all the way back up to the top. And so that 6-bar search shows us it's going to do 6 sweeps in elevation, 2 degrees each. And this is the number of the current bar that it's on. So its first bar is here. Second bar goes down and sweeps. Third bar goes down and sweeps. Fourth, it goes down and sweeps. Fifth, it goes down and sweeps, so on and so forth. Okay? Let me see. So because we're looking at a very wide elevation range here at 6 bars, and we're having a very wide 140-degree sweep rate, 70 degrees left, 70 degrees right, it's going to take a long time for it to cycle through all of these. So if I actually silence my radar, so it's currently on bar number 1 of 6, starting at 70 degrees left. So it's going to sweep all the way 140 degrees to the right, go to bar number 2, come down a little bit, sweep all the way to the left, come down a little bit right, down a little bit left, down a little bit right, until it gets to the sixth sweep, and then come all the way back up to the top and do it again. So how long would that take? Well, let's just do one single rotation of that setup. So bar 2, bar 3, bar 4, bar 5, bar 6. Done. That's how long it took to cycle through all of the, actually, let me turn this off. Okay. That's how long it took to, am I paused? No, I wasn't. Okay. That's how long it took for the entire, each one of those bars to sweep. The good thing about having a wide elevation and wide azimuth sweep rate is you're going to be able to see a lot of the sky. The bad part is you're not going to see that same part of the sky more than, like, it's going to take longer to see that same part of the sky, I guess is what I'm getting at. So if there was a contact, you got to wait for all of the bars to search before it goes back to the same spot that contact was in, and it may not be in that same location. So it's going to be really hard to lock up aircraft on that. All right. All right, so the other thing I want to talk about was these numbers, 58 and 1. This is the range currently at 54 miles, 54.4 miles away. With the current bar selection, I'm going to be able to see 58,000 feet into the air max and minimum of 1,000 feet into the air. So if I change that to 1 bar, at that same distance, I only can see 39,000 feet to 20,000 feet. And obviously, as I get closer to my aircraft, so at 4.4 miles, it's only 29,000 to 39,000 feet. So very small window. So if the plane is below 29,000 feet and within 5 miles, I'm not going to be able to see it on my radar because of that current selection. So I got to change my bars to bring that contact into play. All right. Okay, so that's what these numbers represent, is the maximum height and minimum height that you're going to be able to see contacts on your radar at the current TDC position. Another thing to note is the max range on the radar, if I haven't said this already, is 80 miles. So even though we can go up to 160, you're not going to get any locks because it only goes to 80 miles. I don't know if that's modeled in the game. In the game, we might actually be able to lock things up at 160 miles out, but I do not believe you can in the game because the radar itself is only capable of an 80-mile range. What we're doing here is changing the view of that complete range. So the radar is always transmitting at 80 miles. This doesn't change the transmit range. It just changed where in that range that you're looking maximum. So if we go to 100, or let's go to 80 miles, if down here we had 3 or 4 contacts, they're going to be kind of all clustered together. So we could bring that down to maybe 20 or even 10 miles and get more resolution, and they'd be spread out a little bit more, so it's easier to pick out the specific target we want to lock up. So we'll keep that at 80. So just for a visualization on all of this, I kind of wanted to show you what that looks like here. So if this is our aircraft, if we're changing our azimuth selection, 20, 40, 60, 80, and 140, what that looks like here. Okay, pretty self-explanatory. For the bar search, you got like 2 and 4 bars, so a 2-bar search, I think kind of beat the dead horse on this, but it's one bar is one sweep from one direction to another at a 2-degree angle. So from here to here is 1 bar, it'll come down, come here to here. For a 4 bar, it'll kind of do the same thing, cycle through. I actually think it starts at the top one, goes right to left, down, left to right, down, right to left, down, left to right, and then back up, and then right to left, so on and so forth. So that's what the bars are referring to. And then for the numbers that are on the top of the TDC, this is a good visualization to understand that. Let's look at the 2-bar search. So it's this black line here to this black line here. At 30,000 feet, at a 2-bar search, at 60 miles, I'm only going to be able to see like 41,000 feet to 18,000 feet. So if my target was below 18.9, so almost 19,000 feet, I'm not going to be able to see it on my radar, and therefore I'm not going to be able to lock it up and fire a missile at it, right? So I got to change something. So I could either change my distance, get further away from it, which is not what we want to do, or I can change the pitch of the aircraft, like nose down a little bit, and then I'm facing, all these numbers are just assuming you're straight and level. But if I pitch my aircraft down, I'll be able to shoot this triangle beam closer to the ground and therefore have better chances of locking it up. However, sometimes you don't want to do that. What we can actually do is take the entire dish and point it down like that, right? So we can move it from going straight off the nose to down a little bit. So we can move that angle. And that was actually represented in the game here with that caret. So if I move my antenna, active pause. Antenna's moving. Oh, I gotta turn it off there. Okay. So you can see this. I'm angling my antenna up, and you can see now it's 99 to 99. Or if I move it all the way down, negative 99, negative 99. So not obviously ideal. So we can kind of fine tune these numbers. So if there was a bogey, oh, look, a bogey's right here. So if we hover over that, we can see he's at 6.6 miles. So I'm looking from any negative number, just assume is ground, to 23,000 feet. And you notice he's gone. Why is he gone? Because we're doing a 4-bar sweep and 140 degrees. It had to come back to that location to find him again, right? So we know he's here, so we can narrow that down. Let's do a 60-degree sweep, 4 bars, so maybe he'll stay there now. So he's at 6.5 feet. If I take my antenna and angle it up at 29,000 feet, I'm not going to see him anymore. He's not there. I got to bring that guy down again. So that bottom number is within what his actual range is. And he should pop up here shortly. Right there. Okay. So that's what those numbers mean and how you can control them, but with the antenna, angle, and sweep range, and bar search, and view range, so on and so forth. So we do know he's at 32 miles away, so I can actually make my view range 40, give more resolution as I'm closing in on him, whatever. So if we go ahead and lock him up, now I have ranging and launch and steering information, which basically this little symbol here means the maximum range of whatever weapon is selected, and currently none are. But if I undo this, reset that, and come here, now I can see, you see the blinking on my HUD, he's off to my right. He's actually 33 degrees off to the right, okay? So I'd have to roll my aircraft, and let me just do that. Active pause off. If I roll my aircraft, you can see he's going to start coming in towards the center. And then as he gets to the center, I can go back to straight and level. and then we'll do an attitude hold there, come back down here and active pause so I don't get closer. So we do now know more information about that guy. Because it's green, and also because it has a semicircle on the top, we know that's a friendly. So we're not going to shoot a missile at that guy. Another thing too, and let me just go ahead and reset all this, so we're not having him locked up and scaring him thinking he's going to get shot down. Currently we don't have any missile selected, and we're not in air-to-air mode. Each missile has bar, distance, and azimuth sweep degrees saved. So if I make this, let's make it a 6 bar, 140, and 160 miles. Okay. Then with that, if I go into air-to-air mode, my sidewinders are selected, my AIM-9Xs. And now if we look at those numbers, it actually stayed the same for those. If I select my AMRAAMs, it changed. These are the defaults for AMRAAMs, 2 bar, 40, 140. If you don't like that and you want to bring this in to, let's say, maybe 60 and save that, you have to hit set. So now that that's set, if I go back to my sidewinders, and we'll change this, change that, and then reselect my AMRAAMs, it'll go back to what I saved it as. And the only thing I changed was a 60. So kind of cool stuff there. You might want to do that on the taxiway before you take off as part of your pre-flight. Get all your missiles settings saved the way you want. Okay, so now let's talk about track wall scan versus range wall scan. Range wall scan is very good at finding hits. Track wall scan is really good at maintaining hits or locks, okay? There is a huge difference in the way these two operate. Range wall scan will scan 60 degrees off the nose of your aircraft, or 80 or 140 or whatever you have selected here. Track wall scan will do that same 60 degree sweep centered on your TDC. So if I move my TDC over to the right, I'll be now searching 60 degrees off that, centered off that TDC. So 30 degrees to the left of the TDC location, 30 degrees to the right. So you can see that we have 3 contacts on my radar right here. If I move this over here, I'm not looking in this part of the sky anymore. They're going to start to drop off, right? If I come back over to that part of the sky, that's great. Obviously, you can tell this is not a good way to try to find aircraft on your radar. But when used in conjunction with an AWACS or other friendly aircraft, it's very helpful. And let me show you why. So I'm going to move this over to here. So these guys are going to drop off. And we got some new contacts now. So I'll make it 20 degrees. So these guys drop off too. So we don't know, we don't have any information. We can't find anybody in the sky. Again, we're not going to do TWIS or TWS to do that. But if we turn on our data link, now we're going to get information from AWACS. AWACS is going to tell us where people are. So you can see right here, the AWACS is, this is probably the AWACS right here, saying like, hey, I got a contact right here. If I zoom out, I got even more information. So there's 2 enemy, the AWACS, I got 2 AWACS in the sky. These 2 guys are telling me, and we'll zoom out even further, just so we can see them. Even though my radar's not looking at this part of the sky, I have information on that part of the sky. So if I come over here, I should be able to get information on this. Now he's probably too far away, 65 miles. And he's not too far away. I don't have any information on his altitude on this screen, but if I come over here and go to my SA page and zoom out, and we'll zoom in a little bit. That's the guy on our radar. If we hover over him on here, we get information from our AWACS saying he's at 6,000 feet going 0.4 Mach. So if we come over here and then look, oh, I gotta select it. I can't lock him up because he's at 6,000 feet and my radar angle is at negative 8,000 to negative 40,000. So I got to take my radar and bring it up. Okay, I should be able to lock him up now. Come on. Why isn't he locking up? So my radar should have every capability of seeing that guy. I don't know what's going on. He's at 68 miles at bearing 150, which is, I'm at 159 at 80 miles, so I should be able to see him. I'm gonna play with my bars and degrees. I'm able to see him, but not him. Maybe it's the active pause. I don't know. We'll get closer to him. He might just be too far away. We should be able to get it within 80 miles, but we'll fly closer to this guy. And I'm gonna put my HUD repeater up here just so I can, because I'm heads down, I want to make sure I don't crash. There he is. Okay, so we were just too far away. So it looks like within 65 miles is where you're going to actually be able to get radar contacts, because I don't have this. And there's actually two guys there. So I'm going to pause this really quick. There's actually two guys here, and I can tell if you look really close, we have two aspect lines. So both of them are heading in this general direction. The good thing with TWS is we actually have a raid mode and unpause. If I click this button, oh, I got to lock them up first. If I hit that button, I zoom into that location, and now I can see a little bit better for that location. Turn that back. Another thing with TWS is you can see these numbers here, the 2. Well, now you can't. So I got a 1 right here. Right there is a 1 and a star. And then this guy's not on my radar. He's just there from AWACS. The star means that's your highest priority threat. It looks at its aspect ratios coming closer to you than maybe that guy is. Yep, no, he is, but he's further away. So this guy's priority number 1. This is the first priority after him. And if you had more contacts, it'll say 2, 3, 4, 5, up to 8, I believe. So kind of neat stuff there. Let me go back into this. So another problem that we can run into is we're going to come back over here with our TDC in TWS mode, and these guys dropped off. So we got to come back over here. Oh, there is a bug on the way this works. We got to refind them. And right now he's got me notched. I gotta kind of wait. So I'm gonna slow down because he's gonna turn around. So if a aircraft is flying perpendicular to a target or to a radar, the radar has a hard time seeing that. And I'll show you, I might be able to show you what I'm talking about. If I go over to Oh, I guess I could have done it over there. Let me go back into range well search and reset and air to ground mode. Oh yeah, I just can done that. If we look at our radar, EXP3, I believe. Not sure if that was good. Let me undesignate. Go back into map mode. There. We'll select this location and we'll zoom in. You can see this line right here, right in front of, basically right in front of the nose is a, what is, a dead zone, a blind spot. And I'm going too slow. Yeah, I'm going 100 knots. Is a dead zone. So it's a blind spot there. So if I turn away, we'd be able to see it all. What? All right, I gotta fly real quick. Basically, right in front of the nose is a blind spot for the radar. So if you can put yourself flying horizontally away from, like, perpendicular to the trajectory of the enemy coming in, you can notch that. So sometimes they can do that to you, is basically all I was getting at. Go back to our air radar. Let's get some autopiloting on. All right. Okay, so back to the radar. If we look here, we got a hit and range well search. We hover over it. Oh, we're not in TWS. That's our guy. We know that. So if we come over here and lock him up. Lock him up. Oh, he's over here now. Lock him up. After you lock him, what is going on? Manual mode. Okay, after you lock him up, if you put it in auto mode, the sweep range and azimuth will be centered on your lock guy. So as you bank and turn, if I turn away from him a little bit, there. As I turn away from him, you'll see the center of the sweep range moves off. It's always centered on him. All right, and let me speed up that up. So now it's coming over here. Eventually the sweep range will hit its limit. And if I really speed that turn up, and I have this guy go off the 70-degree east or right, we'll actually lose lock. So you can see he's locked up, locked up, locked up. Still on my radar, about to fall off my radar. And gone. So I'm not going to be able to keep him locked. Obviously, if he's behind me, I'm not going to be able to get radar lock, right? But that limit is 70 degrees left, 70 degrees right. Okay. That is basically everything I wanted to cover. And just because you hung out with me so long, we'll actually go take this guy out. So we'll select our AMRAAMs. And we'll come in. So his current range is 18 miles. He's almost in range. So we're gonna point right at that guy. And when we get the shoot, we'll, actually we're gonna wait a little longer to get into the no escape zone and fire. Fox 3. Fox 3 on his buddy. And I don't know if we hit her or he escaped. He's within 5 miles. We'll switch to Sidewinders. Oh, we did hit him. Splash. That's that guy. Go back into Twiz.
Altitude.
Let's try to get this guy. Switch back to AMRAAMs and close our distance. Now we're low to the ground. We're only 2,000 feet. So our distance for our AMRAAMs are going to be hindered. So I'm going to crank off to the right here. And looking at our radar, you can see he's heading away from the direction that we are. He's heading this direction. We're heading that way. So we can crank back in. He's almost in range. He's in range. Firing. Fox 3. Six seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And I'm looking here. And splash. So we'll undesignate him. Or not. Okay. Looking out 40 miles, 80 miles. We'll look at our SA to see if there's any other bogeys. That's the guy just splashed.
Altitude. Altitude.
I believe anyway. Maybe not. Let's see if he, maybe he didn't die. That might have been another bandit. Okay, again, we're looking here for the range. You also can see the range here, if I zoom in a little bit. When the target gets to this line, he's in range. And I also know he is flying to my right, so I can try to lead him a little bit if I want to. I also see the closing distance, closing velocity here, 450 knots. It's almost in range. In range. We'll just throw one out there just because I want to show you this. We got 7 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Splash. We'll switch to our guns. No, he's dead.
Altitude. Altitude.
And that's all the bandits. So we'll confirm that with the F10 map. There's no more on there. I know it's cheaty, but just for your visualization. So let's go ahead and get out of the FA-18 the right way. See ya.